Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for coming out today. My name is Brian Reardon. I'm the Director of the Emergency Operations Center here at the Fire Hall number 1 in Kelowna. With me, to my right, is Kelowna Mayor Colin Basram, West Kelowna Mayor Doug Finlater, and Regional District of Central Okanagan Chair Gail Given. I will provide an update on behalf of the emergency activation, and our elected officials will say a few words. We will have a few minutes following the few words for questions at the end, and we will also have representatives from the RCMP and from Fortis if you have any specific questions for them. So, the Emergency Operations Center was activated yesterday to support the emergency response in the Central Okanagan. We are now in our 4th operational period, and we will continue to work around the clock to help our emergency and municipal crews as well as residents impacted by the flooding. Flooding is widespread and impacting many properties in Kelowna, West Kelowna, West Bank First Nation, and the electoral areas of the Regional District of Central Okanagan. Our priority as emergency responders is to protect the public safety and key infrastructure and support residents as they protect their properties. Following is the current situation by jurisdiction. City of Kelowna. Emergency crews and municipal staff are actively addressing several areas of concern, particularly along the Mill Creek corridor. A local state of emergency has been called to help emergency responders address flooding in those areas. The following properties are now on evacuation order due to flooding: 543 Rowland Avenue, 534 Sutherland Avenue, 539 Sutherland Avenue, 1955 Pacific Court, 1915 Pacific Court, 1902 Lindell Street, 1936 Lindell Street, 1948 Lindell Street, 1118 Brookside Avenue, 1122 Brookside Avenue, and 1130 Brookside Avenue. Evacuees are being asked to report to the emergency support services. Multiple areas in Kelowna are underwater with tactical evacuations of residences continuing. The corridor along Mill Creek is the primary area of concern. City crews continue to monitor roadways as well as infrastructure. As well, Fortis BC Gas and Electrical have been actively assessing buildings, roads, and bridges for any compromised utilities. The following roads are closed in Kelowna at this time: Ethel Street, from Cater Avenue north to Sutherland Avenue; Sutherland Avenue from Pandosy Street to Richter Street; Buckland Avenue from Marshall Avenue to Ellis Street and Marshall Avenue; further, Burn Avenue from Richter Street to Ethel Street; Brookside Avenue from Gordon Drive going east from Wilkinson Street going west; Spencer Road, access through Country Roads Estates; Bubna Road, multiple parkades throughout the city, multiple roads that may be impassable. We are currently assessing and monitoring. In West Kelowna, West Kelowna Public Works crews are busy through the night we're busy throughout the night at various locations throughout the community. The situation on Galatly Road between the Cove Resort and Angus Drive is stabilized for the time being. However, this section of road will improve. This section of road will continue to remain closed as staff monitor, secure, and work to improve the situation for the affected residents. Given the high level of Powers Creek, the vehicular and pedestrian bridges adjacent to Galatly Boat Launch remain closed. Galatly Road from Whit Road to Angus continues to remain closed and will likely remain closed until, at the earliest, Monday. BC Hydro, TELUS, and Shaw are currently working in this area to move their infrastructure off of the compromised power pole to the new power pole on the west side of the road. The sanitary sewer bypass was installed yesterday afternoon and sits ready to be activated if need be. Further, geotechnical assessments of the slope through this section will continue as West Kelowna works to ensure that the road structure is safe for public use. Crews are continuing their restoration efforts on Shannon Lake Road, adjacent to McDougall Creek, with work expected to wrap up shortly in this area. The following roads are closed in West Kelowna. Lower Gallatley Road between Canyon Ridge and Angus Drive. Gallatley Road closed from Whit Road to Angus Drive. Shannon Lake Road, 1 lane alternating. In the District of Lake Country, currently Beaver Lake Road is closed at Clark Creek and above due to a culvert washout. The Wood Lake water system intake supplying agricultural irrigation to the East Bench Farm has been impacted and is currently inoperable. A request has been made for an engineering report on the mitigation required to have it function again. In Lake Country, Beaver Lake Road is closed, and Togood Road from Oyama Road to Middle Bench Road is closed due to a sinkhole exposing a Fortis gas main. Repairs are underway. In the Regional District of Central Okanagan electoral areas, West Side Road is being continually monitored by the Ministry of Transportation contractor, CVSC. They are conducting patrols along the roadway. Shorts Creek is stable with an evacuation alert in place for the Fintry Delta area, affecting approximately 90 properties. Killiney Beach Regional Park has been closed to the public due to a minor landslide. It will remain closed until a geotechnical assessment has been completed and mitigation work finalized. 2 properties located in the 6200 block of Lakeshore Road within the Regional District are under an evacuation order due to a landslide. The road has reopened and a geotechnical report through the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure is being finalized. We are hoping to lift that order once the report is completed. The following roads are closed in the electoral areas of the Regional District. In Ellison, Old Vernon Road and Spencer Road are closed. Emergency Support Services. A reception center has been established and is located at 1480 Sutherland Avenue at the corner of Birch Road and Sutherland. The center housed approximately 10 evacuees last night, and we will see what the numbers are looking like tonight after the more recent evacuations. Residents who have been evacuated are asked to please attend the center to register, but due to limited available space, evacuees are being asked to try to secure a place with family or friends if possible. The weather is a very important factor in this particular event. It takes approximately 12 to 18 hours for the waters to come from the watershed down to the lake. Environment Canada reports a 30% chance of showers early this evening and clearing near midnight. Tomorrow's forecast is for sun and a high of 18 degrees, something similar for Monday as well. Water advisories. There is a boil water advisory for West Bank First Nation in Reserve number 9. Check www.wfn.ca for a map of the impacted area. As there are numerous water purveyors in the affected area, we recommend that you visit your purveyor's website for up-to-date advisories. In the interest of public safety, people are asked not to remove any road closure signs and barricades and/or pylons. So at this time, I would like to introduce Mayor Vazran to say a few words about Kelowna.
Thank you, Brian. Good afternoon, everybody. So some of the things I'll be repeating, but just due to the fact that it is quite important to continue to get the message out to our residents. But it's important to note that we have declared a local state of emergency here in the city of Kelowna as a result of the flooding that's taking place over the past couple of days. And our biggest area of concern is the corridor along Mill Creek. And so, as has been stated, there have been evacuations to properties along the Mill Creek corridor and in other areas of our community. And the best place for people to stay updated in regards to the evacuations is, of course, the corridoremergency.ca website, where there'll be real-time updates so that people can follow the situation as it changes. And of course, crews are continuing to work around the clock, monitoring areas of concern, clearing debris and jams where possible, and as was mentioned, protecting key infrastructure. I owe a huge debt of gratitude to our residents for their patience, perseverance, and strong community spirit. We recognize these are challenging times for our residents and for the businesses that some of them operate, and we want them to know that we are doing everything we can to help them in this situation. And in particular, I also want to thank our emergency response crews and personnel and volunteers, many who worked round the clock last night and are working on very little sleep to make sure that our residents get the help that they need. Of course, paramount to to everything is our residents' safety, which is our top priority. So I would ask that our residents not use this opportunity, particularly if they're not affected by floods, to satisfy their curiosity by taking a drive into the neighborhoods that are affected. We are asking that you please stay away. The term looky-loo has often been used in our community, and this is not the time to be a looky-loo. And so please stay out of areas that are affected if you don't need to be in those areas. Please stay out of barricaded areas and do not remove barricades that you come across. And of course, stay clear of all creeks. They are running extremely rapidly, and the last thing we want is to have to call out emergency crews again because somebody has fallen in, and we don't want to have to activate our swift water rescue team if it's not necessary. Again, if you're driving on a road with standing water, please proceed cautiously and respect road, park, and trail closures. Again, it's been stated, but it's important to remind all evacuees to please check in with the Emergency Support Services operation, currently located at the Salvation Army. And then we've also been inundated with calls in regards to how our residents can help. Unfortunately, we know incidents like this all too often with floods and with fires. And the one thing, though, that has come as a result of our regular occurrences in regards to these natural disasters is that we have a tremendous sense of community spirit in Kelowna and across the central Okanagan. And that has, of course, been prevalent again over the last couple of days, where people have been calling to say and ask, how can we help? So here's how you can help. Evacuees are being encouraged to stay with friends and family, and so we would ask that that they do so. But we would also ask that if you want to help fill sandbags, there are locations available for people to do that. Again, you can find that information on courtemergency.ca. And beyond that, a couple other things quickly before I turn things over. We're asking that people limit their water use. Particularly in regards to flushing, irrigating, and so we'd ask that people be diligent in reducing their use of water in our community. And beyond that, I, along with the other elected officials, will be available for questions and happy to respond to anything if I may not have touched on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Bowsern left little to be said, but much of it is worth repeating. The one item that I really think is most important is that our residents know about the courtemergency.ca website. Not only is the map live and active, but you can subscribe to updates. So you will get regular updates of what's happening within our region. So it's an excellent website. You register once and you will get subscriptions, not just through this emergency, but all emergencies that happen in our area. It's the benefit of having a regional coordinated emergency center, which I'm very proud of, that we see all of our residents, our communities cooperating, collaborating. You see people within our EOC center that are from all the communities across the central Okanagan. So very coordinated, very collaborative, share knowledge, and it means that our emergency resources are in the best place where they are most needed at any given time. There may be areas where folks are concerned that emergency crews haven't been to their area yet, but you need to know that the emergency crews are very well aware of what is most important in this whole process. It is challenging with floods because it's happening so widespread across our region, and it is very important that we get people into the most important areas and the ones most effective first. So again, help those residents who are your neighbors. You may go out to where the Sandbags are located and help bag or fill bags, and stay up to date on the website, And again, for those who have been evacuated, please make sure that you check in at the emergency services location at Salvation Army. A huge thank you to all the crews, the volunteers, and those who continue to work hard for our citizens. And we know you will continue to do the great community work that you have done, and we will support each other and get through this. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Mayor Doug Finlater, City of West Kelowna, and we too have been impacted by all of the rain we've had in the last few days. First, I want to thank our residents for their patience and support. We know some residents have been affected by a bit of flooding. Some are sort of housebound basically at this point. They can't get out, but they are being checked on by our staff. Other residents are being affected by road closures getting around, and we thank them for their patience. I know our firefighters and our public works crews have been very busy in the last couple of days. Some of them are working 18-hour shifts, very, very long days, and in some cases doing manual labor like filling sandbags in order to protect public infrastructure. So very long days for folks, and I really thank them for that contribution. I was out a bit last night and not going into affected areas because I'm staying out of the way, but it's impossible to not see water everywhere you go and impact on the roads. What I would say, I saw there's standing water in some cases still on roads. It's not creating a big problem, but it's affecting the road. We have erosion on the shoulders of some of our roads, and we have gravel that's washed onto the roads. So there's a big cleanup job ahead of us, and I would ask the public to just be patient. It's not the priority today to get out there and do that, and probably not for the next couple of days to get that sort of stuff cleaned up, but it will be looked at and resolved in the next few weeks. We were early with the state of emergency, and I've been asked why. West Kelowna has no evacuations, and we hope we don't, although we're watching the weather and the water levels, and it's always possible, but hopefully, with touch wood, we will not have evacuations, but our city crews are working on private lands, on private property in at least 2 locations, doing what they're doing in order to protect infrastructure and to protect property. In the Galatly Bay area near the Cove, they're working on private land, and they're working in the Shannon Lake area on private land. And if the state of emergency gives the municipality the authority to do that, otherwise it's a more difficult process. So that's why we have declared a state of emergency. Hopefully it will not be implemented any further. I will say we've done some previous work in the last 5 or 6 years related to flood control, and it's holding up. We did work with the help of provincial assistance in McDougall Creek on Hitchner Road. I did go down to look at that last night, and that channel that was dredged out, for lack of a better word, is performing marvelously, although it is still very close to some of the homes, but it's looking pretty good. We've also done work on Galatly Road at Smith Creek and near Boucherie. We did have slope failure due to the creek a few years ago. We've done quite a bit of work there to prevent that, and it's holding up. There is some more work to do there in the future because there is a little bit of further slope failure, and that's what the power line and the sewer line issue is related to. Sandbags, we have sandbags available in West Kelowna. I am told in 3 locations, on Green Bay Road at Falcon Park, Casaloma Beach Park on Casaloma Road, and at Pebble Beach Park at the end of Whitworth Road, that road is not accessible through Galatly Road unless you live in the area, and you can get down there in order to get the sandbags. And so I would encourage people to visit those locations, and if you want to volunteer, there is also the opportunity to leave your name at those locations, and you can be a volunteer. So hopefully the waters don't rise in the next 12 to 18 hours, as has been said, and the rain holds off for few days. The ground is very saturated, and that's what's making it stay on the surface so much. So thank you very much. You coming back?
Yes.
You'll close it.
Thank you very much, Mayor Finlater. As you can tell, this is a widespread event. It transgresses or it crosses many jurisdictions, whether that's Kelowna, West Kelowna, Lake Country, West Bank First Nation. I would like to acknowledge and thank the efforts of our professional firefighters, of our volunteer staff, as well as other organizations such as the RCMP, the BC Ambulance Service, the Search and Rescue, Fortis BC, and others. I'm very proud to lead this group of individuals, and we work around the clock to serve our residents. At this time, we would be pleased to answer any questions that the meeting may have.
Do you have a number of how many homes have been evacuated or people affected at all?
So the numbers vary by jurisdiction. Earlier in the presentation, we went over the number of homes that have been affected by the evacuation alert in Fintry, approximately 90 properties there. The numbers are changing minute by minute, particularly in the city of Kelowna. So we're monitoring and we're reacting to each one of those activations. What I can say is we're looking at approximately, let's see, 2, 4, 6, probably about 15 or so properties within the city of Kelowna that are now under evacuation order. We have 3 declarations of emergency, one at the city of Kelowna, West Kelowna, and the regional district. And we are working to address each one of those. So I think West Kelowna, the number of properties is significantly less, probably under half a dozen.
Can you predict whether or not this is going to get worse?
We're taking a look at all of the data coming in, and what I can say is that the trend is looking good. We are moving in the right direction on this. We're not out of the woods. We still need to see what's going to happen in the next 48 hours specifically. We're very keen to understand what's going to be happening in the next 12 to 16 hours.
What would you say are the main contributing factors besides the recent rain? Like, what are you seeing in the snowpack and that kind of stuff?
The contributing factors to this flooding event are probably 2 or 3. Number one, the higher temperatures starting on Thursday, the continued warm temperatures throughout the night, as well as the rainfall. The lightning and the rain that came down was significant, and it continues to be significant.
Can you talk more about the snowpack? So those warmer temperatures are melting the snow that's coming through the roofs.
That is correct. That is correct.
Can you explain that, sorry?
Okay. So the snowpack, I can't tell you how much snowpack remains, but when you take a look at the area mountaintops, you see that they're capped by snow. So what happens with the warmer temperatures combined with significant rainfall creates this storm surge. And the storm surge going down through all of the tributaries picks up debris. And what we've seen particularly in the west side is these debris torrents coming down the streams, creating blockages, flooding properties, putting at risk key infrastructure such as West Side Road and other things. So we have snow reports, snowpack reports, and we continue to monitor those as well. We are still, as they say, at risk, particularly over the next, I would say, 3 to 5 days.
Did officials see this coming, or was it a sudden problem, or what's the situation there?
Well, it's very difficult to predict the weather. We do take a look at forecasts, and we were certainly we were suspecting that there may be flooding events. We have regular reports on the flood levels. So when we started getting phone calls, we were actually able to have a rapid response in the emergency center.
Was there anything done prior to the flooding to sort of prevent it from getting this bad, or?
I can't answer that question, but perhaps if I can choose one of our members from the gallery. Alan Newcomb is our operations section chief. He may have some answers to that question.
So we did do creek checks prior to the rainfall on Thursday night. The creeks were clear. We had our diversion from Mill Creek to Mission Creek open, as well as got a stockpile of sand and sandbags ready.
I don't know who that would better answer this question, but is moving forward, so you did do some preparation. Is there anything you're looking at that you think, oh, we could have done this differently?
Well, I think we'll be looking back at, after this event, we can always look back and gain some lessons learned. So we'll be doing that. I think, right now we're in response mode, not actually trying to determine what we could have done better in advance.
So what specifically are crews doing to address the situation right now?
So we've got crews out there continually monitoring the creeks, removing blockages at bridges, culverts. We're sandbagging around some of our infrastructure, such as pump stations, clearing road debris, whatever we can, filling or replenishing the sand supplies, replenishing the sandbag supplies, and doing what we can on the public property.
How soon before areas around like the cove and that are clear water?
I'm not really sure about the west side areas on the cove.
Here's the question that could repeat.
How soon, like areas near the cove and other areas that are filled with water, how soon before they are clear of water?
Actually, we have the Chief Administrative Officer from the City of West Kelowna. He may have a better indication. We've been receiving some operational reports. We're looking at least the next 4 or 5 days. But Jim Zaffino?
We do have crews on site right now, and I concur. We're looking at 3 to 5 days before it can be.
3 to 5 days.
What sort of resources are available at the emergency support services for people, and how many people can they house?
The services provided at the ESS, or the Emergency Support Services Center, deal primarily with lodging, food and lodging, providing vouchers for clothing on a temporary basis. Currently, there is a challenge in meeting the need for accommodation. There's all of the hotels in Kelowna, I understand, are booked. It's a very popular city to visit. That said, there are group accommodations currently available. We expect that short supply of hotel rooms to change comes tomorrow evening after everybody leaves for the weekend. So residents affected by these evacuation orders can go down, register, and the personnel there can explain exactly what benefits are provided on a temporary basis.
Is flooding growing more common in the Okanagan in the last 10 to 15 years? Is this, new to the Okanagan, is it a typical thing to have flooding? Is this quite drastic?
It's not uncommon. And what I can say, though, this year is particularly unusual, whether that's climate change or just the cycle that we're currently in. But this area is known for flooding in localized areas.